Welcome to Rhythm of Love, the podcast. I'm Clarence.
And I'm Yalonda. We celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary by writing a book together about what it took to get us here.
And in this podcast, we go deeper and break down what we learned along the way. We hope you enjoy and engage.
Comment, share, and subscribe. We'd love to hear what you have to say about what it takes to make relationships last.
Yes, we will. Welcome to Rhythm of Love, the podcast. Take 3. You guys didn't see, of course, the other 2 takes because
We're just over here rambling.
we just was over here
too
rambling.
much to share with the world.
Yes.
Yes.
But Yolanda said,
Yes,
I could do some of the things she said.
I said, welcome to episode 5
Yes.
of Rhythm of Love, the podcast.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much to everyone who has watched any and especially all of the first 4 episodes. We're so glad that y'all are enjoying us. And
Yes. We're getting
coming
our
into our
subscribership
comments.
is rising.
This is what I love to hear.
Our
This is what I love
subscribership
to
is
hear.
rising.
We're
Our
thankful for you.
viewership, just the general views, is trending up. So
Thank you.
we appreciate it. We appreciate it very much. Our engagement on all of the social platforms is trending up. You guys recently participated in our toilet paper roll wars.
Yes. Which
I'm
they
winning.
better be.
I'm winning.
Wow. You just lied to yourself then.
Listen,
Okay.
Trump can lie
In your
himself.
mind.
I can lie to myself.
Oh my goodness, don't put yourself on the same place with Trump. That's not a good example to follow.
We won. We're winning.
You're
We're winning. We're winning.
so much winning.
I'm
tired of
almost
winning.
getting tired
Sick
of all the
and
winning
tired
we're
of
doing.
winning.
So Team Under, I appreciate you out there. Shout out.
Team Under, please come and support your boy because Team Over is strong in the paint.
Shout out to Lady Day, who is number 1 on my team. That's
Lady
right.
Day. How about I think you hid that comment from me so I couldn't turn her from you.
Shout out to Lady Day. And a half shout out to Dr. Dady Priest, who is also Team Under.
But she's on my side because
she let her chromosomal bonds.
Is it the chromosome?
She let her chromosomal bonds cloud her judgment. But, cloud her public persona. She's one of those,
She's a
tell
sweet
me in
woman.
private, I'm with you. But publicly, she wasn't.
She's for me. She's
Yeah.
She's team over on the sneak.
No. No. All right. So this week's episode.
Yes, we said last week that we would talk about sacrifice in marriage because that was a great chapter that you wrote where you pointed out that a lot of times what you hear said is marriage is about compromise. It's about compromise. You have to be prepared to compromise. And there's nothing untrue about that.
Nothing.
However,
more importantly,
sometimes you actually have to be prepared to sacrifice what it is that you want, what it is that you were expecting.
So let me. So this is not. So we wrote it in the book, but this is not something that was new, or that I had said new.
Oh no!
I said it a long time ago.
This has been your mantra for a minute.
For a long time. So essentially, when you're talking about compromise in any relationship, what you're talking about is a meeting of the minds. People get together and they say, I will do this, or I'll go along with this, but I won't go along with that.
Right.
So in the end,
I'll give up X, but you have to
X.
give up Y, and we meet somewhere in the middle.
Right. So in any compromise, you never get everything you want, but you do get something.
Yes.
And that is a key, and that is great for most relationships.
Or most situations inside of a relationship.
Sure. Most situations inside of a relationship. But in a real marital situation, what I figured out, or what I ascertained, was there are times where you have to give up everything with no known understanding of what you will get in return. Doesn't mean you won't get something in return, but it's not something that is agreed upon
from jump
and beforehand to say, I'm going to, I know I'm giving up this, but I'm going to get this on the other side.
Right,
and that is a sacrifice, and you are putting yourself in a position where you just have to believe that this is going to work out positively for you, or this is going to have some positive impacts on you. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. But the point is, you have to be willing to do that in marriage, in my opinion.
Yes. And I think that I would hope that sometimes it doesn't is more rare than sometimes, more rarely, because I would hope that as your spouse is experiencing you giving up on, on certain desires or whatever it is, that it is preparing their ground, making their ground fertile for also doing the same for you, or for showing you the appreciation for having done that. No, it's not. I understand your mindset has to be, it's a good likelihood that I may never see fruit on this, return on this investment. However, I think in a long-term relationship, you do. It may not be directly. Talk to me. Is there something you feel like you sacrificed and you just lost? And
oh no, I think you lose stuff all the time. The sacrifice has to do with the overall health of the entire relationship.
Right. And that's what I'm speaking to.
And that's what I figured you were speaking to. Yeah. But, there is no one-to-one correlation that you can point to say, because I did this, this came out of that. It's not even a tally. You can't say because I didn't do this, or because I relinquished this, that I got this later on. What you get later on will just be potentially overall happiness or potential overall joy,
which is not anything to sneeze at.
And it's not anything to sneeze at. And I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it's just not something specifically tangible that you can point to say,
Right. It's not a geometric equation, a linear equation of
I did this.
If X is true, then
add some
calculate
time
some
to
stuff. Yes, and
relinquish
plus B
plus time equal
divided
this.
by.
Right. There's nothing like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. So
no. It's not a calculation.
I don't know that I can specifically. I give an example in the book, a couple of examples for both of us of things that we have given up for the health of our family and our relationships. But, I don't know that I have too many of them that I can think of, because I don't think it happens very often. And what I think people in general struggle with is the foundation of that is the trust of the relationship, trusting in the relationship. And I think sometimes people struggle with that. They've been hurt in the past. They've had people who have taken advantage of them.
Yes.
And, they don't want to relinquish that kind of...
You don't want to make that level of sacrifice such that you lose and you're like, and I gave up this, I gave up this great job. I gave up this move to another city, and look what I got, nothing.
But what I will say is, don't allow yourself to get stuck in believing that you actually got nothing. You always get something. You may not get what you want. You may not get satisfaction. You may not get, just like I said, you get joy and you get happiness. Sometimes you get just lessons learned. Sometimes you get information that says
for the next time, for the next go
round. So that's it's a very touchy thing to do. So
it's not easy. I think
And
it's certainly easier said than done.
It's certainly easier said. And I will say, by and large, speaking more to men than I am to women, because women do it all the time. And it's not fair. It's not.
No, I appreciate the acknowledgement
women,
that
women
it does happen.
Sacrifice the things of their lives regularly when they are engaging in relationships. And, you know, I don't think that men have had to have that level of sacrifice nearly as often as women have.
But let me tell you, brothers, when you do, when she sees you do that, when she sees you laying yourself down as a sacrificial lamb for the good of the relationship, that does something to a woman.
Does it?
Does. Yes.
Really?
Yes, it does. It can ease your frustrations. It can turn you on. It can make you want to go even further, the distance. It can make things that bother you less bothersome. These are great. What you don't sound like this. That's all that awesome.
I'm not saying it's not about awesome. It's just about I don't know. Okay, I think there are levels. This is a crazy way to say it, but there are just levels of maturity that garner that kind of response. You know, at your age, you can say that. You say, I understand, because you understand what it is. You understand what the value of doing that is. But the youngins, the Utes, isn't that what they call them?
Yes.
The Utes.
The two Utes.
The Utes. I don't think that they value it nearly as much. And I don't think that either of us valued it at our younger ages.
Valued what?
The sacrifices that we made. I wasn't. Okay, so in the book we talked, the sacrifice that we write about within the book is when we got married, she was living in North Carolina and I moved from here to North Carolina, from the DMV,
our home in DMV
to North Carolina. Even though
he had a job,
I had a house. I had a house. I had everything that you would want to have at 24, which is about what I was, maybe 25, which is I think exactly how old I was. But I packed all that stuff up and I came.
Rented your house out.
Yeah, all that stuff. So, and it was the right thing to do. I never questioned whether or not it was the right thing to do for the health of our relationship. I never questioned it. But I never thought for one moment, no, that's too strong. I never felt like you appreciated it to some, he did all of these things. You've never said it. And I'm not even sure you behaved as if that was the case. Now, that doesn't mean that you didn't grow to appreciate it later on, but I certainly didn't think that you did. But we were so young. I mean, that's why I say, I'm putting out ages here. Excuse me, LaDawn, if you're out there, because I like to throw ages around in the chat, and they always get on me about throwing the ages and stuff around.
Okay.
But a 40-year-old responding to that is much different than in your case a 22-year-old.
Sure.
So that's my point. Okay. That there's levels to this and their level of appreciation. I never thought, and I never held it against you, but I never thought that you had this level of gratitude that you held me for making those kind of moves. But then I didn't ask you for it.
That. I mean, gratitude is one thing, but a recognition that this could go the distance was there. no, it wasn't like, oh my God, verbally at the forefront of my mind or my statements or anything that he moved all the way down here for me. Because at the time, yes, I was more like, that was his choice. He chose to come be where I am because he wanted to be with me. And I was in school, and there was not even an option for me to leave school and like transfer to another school or something like that. So at the time, yes, it just seemed like the easier decision if we were going to be together.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is not a gripe session for
no,
me to, but
okay.
I just,
yeah.
But
I think it all builds on each other over time.
Right.
Even if we've already just said, you may not see the immediate fruits, but it does build over time. It's money in the bank, I should say.
Compound interest is what you're talking about. It's gaining compound interest is what you're saying.
However you want to say the analogy.
And it's supposed to build.
And it's building. It's building. Okay. It's like buying stock. Yes. Oh, okay. Well, because, I was going to say stock can go up or down, but I guess it's like buying a house.
It's like buying stock. I think buying stock is a perfect analogy because it could go either way.
It can go either way.
You're hoping it goes your way, but it could go either way.
Yeah.
So the other example that we talk about is what you sacrifice, which was basically putting your career on hold to help take care of the kids.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
And we were a little older by that time. We had Simone. I was 30.
Right. Yeah.
And then Nathan when I was 34.
Yeah. Right. So we were almost 10 years in.
Yeah, we were. We were definitely 10 years in when we had Nathan.
Because it was.
Yeah.
We were 7 years in. Oh, it might have been a little bit more than 10 years because it took us.
It was 4 years for Moni. And then 4 years of this. So it was about 8 years.
Yeah. Well, no, Nathan was around for a minute before I actually left work.
But you bounced back and forth, even when Simone... When it was just Simone,
I worked from home. Yeah, I cut down to 60%.
Yeah, you did a bunch of different stuff.
I did a bunch of things over time.
And So,
and at the time... Again, it wasn't like you were like, oh, you're sacrificing. Let me do X, Y, Z in appreciation of that. Do you feel like you did do some things in appreciation of that?
So, I don't know that, being candid, I don't think I verbalized it either.
Sure.
Okay. But it was always in my mind. And it's been in my mind for the last 22 years. So, I always say, I can't do this or I don't do this because I don't want to leave her home by herself. She already there at the time. She already there all day long. So I can't be at the golf course on Saturdays. I can't be at the basketball court like that. I can't stay out late with y'all. I got to relieve her because she home with them kids and they not easy to manage. I've been home with them before, and so I know if she going through it all day, and I put those are the type of things I did, and then push you to go out, which I always have.
I mean, it's all about perspective. It's all about perspective because I can agree to a certain extent that you limited your time away, and I do recall hearing you say especially even telling your job that please don't put me on travel, etc. But then there were times when you were away.
That's true. That's true. I mean,
and so
I don't think
it's the perspective of the person experiencing either the sacrifice or the payback, for lack of a better word, of the sacrifice or the fruits of the sacrifice.
I mean, they're my kids too.
Right.
I think.
Don't even try. First of all, they look just like you. I have no say in the matter in terms of how they look. And one of them acts just like you, too.
Yeah, that's true, too. Yeah, that's true. And one of them acts just like you.
Yes.
Where you at, dog?
I guess I get that.
I hope I see you soon. Hope you come home.
Hope you come home.
Hope you come home sometime. Look forward to seeing you. My son is away at school. That's his mother's. That's her twin.
Yes, it is.
And personality,
emotional twin.
Emotional twin.
Or a psychological twin, but not the way we look. Even though some people do say they can see me in him. So I'll take that.
Gotta take that.
I will take that. So yes, I think it does. It's such a tricky balance, because what I think we do really try is not to keep a tally. At least I try to not keep a tally, and try not to be balancing our books of who's done what when and how much has one done versus how much the other has done. And you do, I guess that can look like not being grateful or not demonstrating gratitude, or just maybe not demonstrating gratitude in the way that it would be obvious to you.
I don't think it's that. I think it's just it. I mean, I'm sure it's that. I'm sure it could be that, but I think this has less to do with you and more to do with me. What I mean by that is my memory, as I've said on many number of occasions, is a gift and a curse. And I wish that I could go through life with less recall. So when you say things like trying not to keep a tally, when you don't really remember that much, it's easy not to keep a tally. No shade.
I can write it down.
No shade.
I could be keeping a written tally.
But when you remember stuff, or when, although I am getting to the point where I'm starting to forget some things, but when you remember stuff like I do, especially like I did when I was young and full of fire.
Yes.
You have to purposefully push those things out and not keep that tally and not verbalize those things, because you remember. And so you're trying, you have to quell that tongue and take some time before you respond, and then learn even where some of your responses are originating, because even though you're not verbally saying these things, I know that sometimes my feelings are in it. And even though I'm not verbalizing that specific thing, it doesn't mean I'm not feeling that specific thing.
Or that you aren't reacting to what is happening based on that feeling.
Right. So that is something that I have struggled with throughout, because I wear it all on my sleeve, and I wish I could forget more. So, I have to actively not keep a tally.
I hear that.
No. If you guys got any tips on how to forget that don't require a blow to the head, let me know.
I think, this makes me think of other things. I think that forgetting and forgiving are tied so closely in your psyche. The fact that you can't forget, and the fact that you can't forget the feeling, or that you feel the feeling all over again when you remember the slight or the unfortunate incident, that it makes it so much harder for you to forgive as well. You talked about grace last week, and that's where grace really kicks in for a person like you, who remembers so well and relives the moments when it comes to your mind, or the moments.
Which is why, I mean, about, you guys out there don't know this, but you certainly know this, which is why I needed that cleanse a few years back. Not a few years back, several years back, where I had to go through people from my past and talk to them so that I could move on in my life. Even though I hadn't seen some of these people in years, or even talked to some of these people in years, to just be able to sit down and say, this is how I was feeling. This is how you made, this is what happened. This is what I think happened. This is how you made me feel. And I need to talk about it with you. And you're the only person I can talk about this with. And it doesn't mean, and I can tell you, most of those people, we didn't come to any type of resolution or even any type of conclusion, other than, we both realized how young we were. And, across the board, that was, a pretty standard response. Wow. And every one of those people I talked to, we all agreed that it's likely we would not respond the same way now that we did then, having had a few more life experiences. So, but needing that closure was important for me. And some people don't need that closure. Some people are able to break off relationships with people and
just move on.
And that's tough for me. Yeah. That's very, very tough for me.
Yes, I have experienced that. And I think how it plays out then in our marriage, or how it, I don't know if I can say plays a present tense or played past tense, because it may still be happening.
I would never say it's gone.
Is that you don't always have, or you don't always feel like you can take the opportunity to get that, to be blunt with me and to say, I don't think you appreciated when I moved all the way to North Carolina. Or,
sure.
You don't feel like you can say that to me because, it's going to hurt me too badly, or, you don't want to dredge up old things. So I can see how that can.
And that's a chapter in the book too.
That's a chapter in the book too,
about learning what to say to your spouse and how to say it, and what things are just things you never say. It's a whole chapter. We can talk about that next week. It's amazing that the conversations
it's kind of leading to the next conversation,
which is talking
topic.
about, not learning how to quell that tongue a little bit in your marriage.
Right. And I think, I won't get into that if we're going to save it for next week. But, I look back and I hate to be the cause of you, or a contributing factor into you kind of holding those things in about our marriage that may have been helpful for you to say. Like, if you were, for lack of a better word, holding a grudge against me, and it was playing out in other ways, not directly tied to the grudge that you had, but you were, not so much not keeping that tally was alive, and that mark in the bad column was there at the forefront, and you were fighting to look past it. I don't like that I contributed to you thinking you had to hold things back from me.
One of the things that you and I have talked about is how bad the pandemic was for some and how good it was for others. And we landed on the good side.
On the good side, yes.
And we landed on the good side because with the rest and with the spending so much time together, we were able to really break down a lot of old conversations and really have some serious, in-depth candid conversations with one another about things that we didn't like or things that we were unhappy about from years and years and years ago, not even, just things that were recent. And because we're home and because we're spending so much time together and because we didn't have, I don't want to say the stress of life, but because we didn't have the outside things of having to take care of this outside of the house and having to do this out and
right. Yeah.
All those things.
Things were shut down.
We had to have these conversations.
Yeah.
And I think we had those conversations, and I think we came through that better than we did even going in. And we weren't bad going in, but I think we were much better coming out. And a lot of
air was cleared.
A lot of air was clear.
I don't think we would have been able to write this book or express some of the things that we've expressed to each other in a public forum if we hadn't had that time.
So I'm sorry that other people had struggles, and I could see worse. How you could have struggles.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody is in that same position where they are forced to deal with one another, to deal and face with. Yep, reckon with is a great word. With one another, and how they chose is the proper verb. How they chose to do it was, impacted their relationship in some way or another. I think they said a lot of divorces came out of the pandemic.
Yes.
So
yes.
But we came out of it
stronger than ever,
better than we were before. Getting a lot more busy.
It always goes back to that.
It doesn't always go back to that, but it don't hurt.
It's a measure of a healthy relationship.
That is a measure of a healthy relationship.
How much are y'all getting it in?
How much you getting? Yeah, I mean, them Friday morning walks. I had to say, listen, you just can't have every Friday morning to go walking.
There are other mornings. There's 6 other mornings in the week.
That is true. That is true.
I mean, you did end up relinquishing those Friday mornings. Because it turned out to be good for you. But then also, yes, there were some Friday mornings where I had to be like, I'm going to be a little bit late for the walk. I'm on my way.
Because you have converted me.
Oh, yeah.
From a nighttime to a morning.
Morning sex is better to me. Daytime. It doesn't even have to be the morning. Just daytime in general. When my energy level is high and I haven't gone all day doing all day stuff.
All day stuff.
Yes.
I hear you.
I'm glad I've converted you. I think we both benefit.
It's okay.
I don't know why you are not ready to agree with that.
Because I'm usually ready to go to sleep.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
I see. You have programmed yourself for many, many years that you do that and you go to sleep because it's 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning when you finish.
You say that's why. I just say it's just
it wears you out.
Listen, I'm putting in work.
I'll be putting on you.
I'll be putting in work.
What we both what we doing?
I'll be putting in work.
I'll be putting it on you.
The Oochie Coochie. Shout out to my man, Mike. You know who you are. I'm not gonna put your full name on blast on here.
In relation to this particular part of the conversation.
You know the Oochie Coochie. Crazy talk.
So I don't know. I think it is. It's a tough thing to do. It's a tough thing to respond to, especially if you think you're right and the other person should give up. You should come to my side. You should put the toilet paper over all the time.
Okay, so
So ain't no sacrifice. You just doing the right thing.
Team under. Don't let this dissuade you. We're going to be
wherever you are out there.
We're going to be team under.
Few and far between.
We're going to be team under.
Band together from the 4 corners of the earth.
That's crazy. That's madness.
Because Team Over is in the winning column.
It's madness.
We got the numbers on our side.
We
got the hotels.
Yeah, I was gonna say somebody said the hotels,
patent office,
the patent office, the hotel. I told you the patent
restaurants
office,
and everything.
They just,
no, I don't know. It's a lot of unders going on.
They
in
decorative.
Restaurants.
They being decorative. Hotels, those people, they're putting that triangle out there because they want to be decorative.
No, the over came first, and they were like, "How can we make it look cute?"
They decorative. Anyway, so that's what's going on with us this week.
Yes. 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 Yes.
I think
have we tapped this conversation for everything that it has to give. It's such a big thing in general terms.
But it's pretty simple.
Yes, it is simple. And, I just want more couples to be at a level where they can give, they can sacrifice, and not be so concerned that they're going to be taken advantage of. It's a level of vulnerability that not everybody is prepared to be for their spouse. They think their spouse hasn't proven themselves enough, or they're still carrying baggage from previous relationships, or this is just something I'm not going to bend on, period, for nobody, neck rolling the whole time.
But if we're talking about what we have learned aside from that, I would say the acknowledgement is important. And I think that we didn't
acknowledge
do enough acknowledgments for each other.
No.
And, a simple conversation to say, I know that this is something that you didn't want to do, or something that goes against what you had hoped and planned, but I appreciate the fact that you're doing it. And that could be from either one of us.
Yeah.
So acknowledgement and recognition is the part that we would learn, the part that if we could do it all over again, that I would do differently.
Recognize each other's sacrifices,
because that recognition helps that other person to feel,
I'm not doing this for nothing.
I'm not doing this for nothing. That's the other person sees me and is recognizing that I don't have to do this. And that is a huge boost to the relationship. So we talked about what we did, but this is what I would have done differently.
Right. Most definitely. It's just to put it out there explicitly.
Not
I appreciate.
I come home every night, so she must know that I appreciate. No. Actually, verbalize it to the person to say,
I see what you did. I recognize what you're giving up.
Because then the actions don't always support that they think that you know that. But verbalizing it lets them know that you know that.
Right. So hopefully us sharing that with you all, the key of telling your person that you appreciate them, telling your person that you see what they're doing, how they're changing, how they're behaving in ways that are to your benefit and to the relationship's benefit, and expressing your disenchantment, expressing your concerns and your questions, and being able to just really have a dialogue.
It's major.
Yeah.
We major. That's what Rich Nice and them song was. We major. That was that song on Heartbeats was We Major. I don't think they were talking about this, but so either way,
this is a really kind of serious one today.
This is the most serious
chuckling.
episode.
We didn't laugh at all. We didn't chuckle too much this time.
There wasn't a lot of laughter go on in this one, but that doesn't mean Because sometimes you have to have real conversations, and this was,
yes,
this was a real conversation. This is one of those,
yes,
the ones that was serious, not serious, just thought provoking. So, housekeeping time.
Housekeeping time.
All right, it's housekeeping time. I'm going to get me a buzzer. I'm going to put it right there.
Because housekeeping time is a time to celebrate, obviously.
So we still working out some details with our with some sponsors that we got. Some people have agreed to be sponsors, and we still trying to work out some details with them. But hopefully by episode 7, we'll have them worked out, and we'll run out.
Set a goal. Set a time.
See,
and that helps us know what we're working towards.
Open ended is terrible for me. For me, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So hopefully we work it out by episode 7. Make sure to join us on Sunday nights for Heartbeats in the Basement. You can get there with twitch.tv/DJ C#. We're on at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Should I say Eastern Time?
You should.
Okay, because it changes.
Could be standard or daylight time.
Okay, Eastern Time.
Yes.
Where we play music and discuss various topics. It's much lighter than it is tonight.
Much lighter.
As we say, as we are trying to make our signature closing, we want to make sure that you recognize, hearing our story tonight, that we have found our rhythm. We hope that you can find yours.
So that you can live by the rhythm and love by the rhythm.
Listen to that. Listen to that. I think this is going to work.
I think it's going to work, babe.
I think it's going to work. We hope you've enjoyed another exciting episode of Rhythm of Love, the podcast, hosted by Clarence and Yalonda Lewis.
Theme song by Kendra R.
Graphics by Rihanna Denise.
More information is available at cYLentertainment.com.
Please join us on Sunday nights for our live stream on twitch.tv/DJC#.